341-8255, the New Orleans Talk Network.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
This is Congressman Cedric Richmond, and you're watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Joe LaPinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
Caught up in the little whimsical of it. Yeah, I kind of think it's got a nice little vibrancy about it. Well, good morning, folks. We're chit-chatting here about seeing me doing my little hobble of the head. That little music is so tantalizing to me that I got to just kind of move along with it. It's not New Orleans music, but still it's got a nice little jive to it. Well, welcome back. As you know, we're calling the month of December R-tist Revue Cabaret. We don't have any live performances per se of any burlesque or anything like that. We're featuring artists only this month. Each week's Wednesday, hopefully you've been in tune and saw the first 2 weeks episodes. We've had from gentlemen from Indonesia, the first one, and also last week from Greece. So today we're pleased to do two things. One, we're going to have a female artist, and we got to balance the scales here and bring it back home because we like to mix up the thing. Not all locals and not all international. So we really want to keep the mix going. And in regards to that, besides, of course, I should have wished you all a Merry Christmas coming up, but hopefully I'll remember to do that at the end. So forgive me if I don't. But we're really pleased today to have with us a very talented artist and very attractive young lady, and her name is Lammie-Hanson. Good morning, Lammie. How we doing?
I'm funny.
We've been having fun, like I say, chit-chatting before the show, huh? Hopefully y'all didn't get aggravated with our talk if you heard some of that chatter. Anyway, let's start off. We always ask our guests, whether it's a chef, artist, center, whether they're a native. For some reason, we're very tuned to our natives and want to give them as much plaudit, not that other people don't deserve the fame. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Born and raised in Harlem, New York.
Can't beat that. That's like the other New Orleans.
Well, the funny thing is, I was in Brooklyn for 12 years, and a lady by the name of Kira, I think her name is, she was friends with one of my colleagues in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And when I started kind of migrating down to be closer to my family, she invited me to do a show here in 2009.
Wow. Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah. The thing is that I was in a band too, so I performed with the band, and then in February the next year, which is 2010, I had my first solo show here in New Orleans. And the first day I fell in love with the people. The second day I fell in love with the culture, the music, the architecture, and I just felt so close to my New York because there's so much history.
Well, sure.
And you'll never get bored.
No, right.
And so that's the reason why New Orleans ended up being.
Yeah, we're so unique in regard of, because of our location. We're located in the South, but we're nowhere near a southern city.
It's a bubble.
Maybe the food, no, but I'm saying the culture level is much more European, much more international. Let's put it this way.
It is,
and that's what I like about it.
Every time I was driving over the hump on my way here, I felt like I'm coming home.
Oh, that's cute. I like that. I like that.
That's what I was feeling like.
So do you get up to New York much anymore?
Not as much. When I first started, I would go back and forth still doing shows. But now I said it's better for me to concentrate on being here and not worrying about New York, but worrying about or just creating home, creating here, feeling the people and just enjoying.
Yeah.
There's
so
so
even,
much here. There's so
that's
much
right.
here.
And even though, New York has a much bigger exposure from people and at the same time here, it's just the obvious, so concentrated, but then so universal.
I can think.
Beautifully put.
That's what there's so much going on in New York. But
Right.
here, I can think. I can strategize.
Well, everyone should take the time to think. So, well, we really appreciate it. We're glad you're calling us home for a while. Hopefully, maybe it's a long time. That would be great. I met Lammie at an artist juried exhibit in one of our, St. Claude Folks is the new magazine or whatever you want to call it with regard to restaurants as well as galleries now. So it's really broadened the reach of art and our culture to the aspects of cities that those people who live there probably never got a chance to go uptown to a gallery or very rarely. Now they brought it on home. So we have not only the people in the neighborhood, but the people from like us uptown going there. So it's really a great give and take situation. So we met, I did a little Facebook Live that night, and I was privileged to be able to interview her there. And I wanted to include it in the Facebook announcement as I tell them by lack of technical skills wasn't allowed to do that. But anyway, you can see that on, anyway, let me know if you want to see it. I'll send you the connection or I'll repost it on Facebook after this. Might be a good idea to do that. Okay, the other question, the key questions we have normally to all of our guests about what their industry or talent is how did you first know, either not necessarily that you were going to be an artist, but what drew you, those beautiful eyes, to art?
I started actually, my boyfriend, actually, to keep me busy, at the age of 5, put a pencil and showed me how to do a stick figure. Okay, fast forward, all through elementary school, I used to love sketching, whatever, those are my doodles. And then as I got to high school, I didn't do it because it was another girl with the same first name that I had.
Oh, same
first name, who was very creative. And I did not like the idea of competing. Yeah, because the art to me was never about competition.
It's about the creativity.
It was about the creativity and my self-expression. And if your self-expression is up there for competition, for some reason, you're not you feel like you're setting yourself up for rejection.
Very well said.
So in college, I actually, and I'm self-taught, so it's like I went to college for like something funny like German and psychology, seriously. And
psychology, okay.
Yeah, and I ended up just trying to get out on liberal arts. So
I love it.
But the thing is that I always thought that as I was going through college, I used it as a catharsis. I used it to get out of depression.
Right.
So I was when I had a problem with some sort of emotion I was going through, I created something, and it made me feel better because I created something beautiful when I felt ugly, when I felt not part of something. Like you feel rejected. So now it's like I created a book about, I think maybe 6 or 7 years ago, probably like 7 or 8 years ago, of the first 20 years of the artwork that I created just from that pure emotion. It's called Painting the Individual Psyche. And after I did that, I said, I want to know if I can create from joy. I wonder if but I want to be able to create from, I don't want to be depressed, you know?
Sure.
And so I did find a level of joy that I had to evolve into. And so now when I create something, even though you have the eyes show a little bit of sadness, but it's also showing the soul. But what you see outside of it, usually, and when it's my paintings, it's usually their emotions on the outside.
Where and go on the outside?
All the swirls and the textures, and I love the textures. The textures are telling you, colors are representative of certain emotions. So purple is always considered a passion.
Sure.
I like the earth tones. It makes you feel grounded. The green makes you feel,
calm.
it just, I love but my biggest favorite
Here it is.
constantly painting in blue.
And we just had Mike, our technician, come in, and first thing he said was, "I love your work, but specifically," and we'll see it. We don't want to give it away yet, but there's one specific blue piece that's blue.
Yeah, and it's always about the transitioning of all your emotions as well as the beauty of the individual. Mm-hmm. The individual always seems to just vibrate with life.
Exactly.
You know, women that I do, their mouths are always closed, but their eyes are what tell you.
Going right to the soul, they say. Eyes to the soul. It's interesting because talented individuals, and we see that both in the chef community as well as the artist community, there's a lot that suffer from depression. Now, most people don't know that because they don't see that side of the individual. You know, they're always in pretty face, for the public. But more and more, in fact, if you read a lot of the Facebook posts from artists, they'll express that this is my therapy, and it is. Just like music is also for anyone with a mental challenge. Music is always, no matter, even if it's more what we consider rock or strong music, it's sympathy to the soul. It really is. And the same thing with art. Art is the therapy of moving, whether it's the hands or whatever, and expressing what is, and getting you hopefully out of that period, if it's only temporarily.
It's the accomplishment of each piece. I had a friend that, she would say, "I'm so proud of you." And I would say, "What do you mean?" and she goes, "You're doing it." And I said, "No, I haven't." This is back when I was still trying to figure out things. She was like, I said, "But why?" And she said, "Because you accomplished each piece. Therefore, you are a success." Right. That changed my whole dynamic as opposed to completing a piece and having a gallery want you.
Right, and, for a purpose.
And if the gallery wants you, then you're successful. Right. And she said, "No, the moment you finished a piece and you signed your name, you're successful." Well,
and I hope if any other artists are watching or listening or will watch this later, if you haven't realized that realization she just expressed, I think it's something beautifully said. And I think a lot of artists don't. They look exactly at the natural, because people want to say how successfully measured by the dollar and the cents or the most, who's collected you, or, and that's it. So they feel that
that's the cherry, that's the icing on the cake.
Very good, the icing on the cake.
But you got to build the cake.
Exactly, you got to get in there with the dough and everything else and put it together. Yeah. Well, this is fascinating because it's touching on something that we normally don't touch on with the show, because we're here to give all the happiness to the people, the visuals and all. But you see, we're all human, and so we all have similar emotions. And this is, like I say, just a beautiful expression of something that a lot of artists go through. And of course, some of the depression comes on because they're not, that success that they felt is defined by others with regard to the tangible amount of money they get or their fame and da-da-da. Yeah. When really, art should be by the person for the person.
Yes.
And if he or she wants to share it with the public, that's his or her business.
Exactly.
Good. Well, we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
All right, folks, look, unfortunately, we've got to take our break. That's something I shouldn't say unfortunately, because that's the way it's supposed to be. But we do take just a few minutes out of your time. If you'll stay with us, we have lovely artist Lammie-Hanson here, and we're about ready to take a look at her great work. So come on back right after the probos, okay?
Listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255, the New Orleans Talk Network.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, And can you believe that it has been 1 year since Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions hit your airwaves? We have interviewed authors, entrepreneurs, playwrights, musicians, and everyone in between, all to bring you the best of literary conversation. And we plan to do it again this year, but only better. So join us right here in the Literary Lounge each Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. See you there.
We're back. Talk What You Know returns on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. We got a brand new co-host by the name of Bob B. And hey, that's me. Also, we got some new features. We're going to be giving away, have a weekly raffle of prizes. There are multiple ways for you to win, and there's a bevy of prizes. So we need you to come on back, join us on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock for Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com. Now.
But hopefully it'll be cut during the holiday. We'll have to try and learn how to do it without hurting myself. Okay, folks, there's that music. I was enjoying such wonderful, delightful conversation with our artist guest today, and her name, if you didn't catch it in the first segment, is Lammie-Hanson, originally from the Big Apple. Can you believe that? But now she's relocated, hopefully permanently, to the Big Easy. And she's been with us a while, and she's turning out some phenomenal work. In fact, I mentioned in the first segment that I met her at a juried exhibit at one of the galleries on St. Claude. And her piece for that particular art was just a very unusual technique. And the only
called it mystery. The mystery piece.
Okay. Anyway, and even though it's a fabulous piece, you know, I worried about on the show because I asked her to limit that particular process because we're going to go over it when we address the piece. We put that to the end of the show because if everything looked like that, you just say, she doesn't have any color in her life, you know, because it's the process, and I don't want to give it away, so we'll wait to the end. But I wanted to see her larger body of work, and I saw in her something that I've asked several artists I've seen pieces of. She has a phenomenal talent and inspiration on the female composition, especially not so much the magnificent curvy bodies, but the beautiful faces. And I don't mean they're beautiful in beauty, but in regard to the penetrating, which we just spoke about a little bit ago. So I always wanted to see a series of females. And even though we've got a few others for diversity in case people like the other gender too, but we've got some other things mixed up. And we've got a lot of the color that she talked about. So that way you won't say, oh, it's just so dull. It's so muted. But anyway, we'll wait to the end. We don't want to turn you off in that regard because there's no reason to turn off, other than the inability to display how beautiful this other work is on the TV. So let's do this. Let's jump right into it to our first young lady, and I mean we couldn't start with a better penetration of eyes to the audience. Just a beautiful piece. Tell us a little bit about this, Lammie, please.
This piece is called Something About Her. And it's her eyes that are bringing your soul into knowing where she is. What you see outside is all the color and the swirls is actually the emotions that she's actually having inside that you see on the outside. And that's mostly what most of those pieces are like. She is one of the few pieces that actually has two eyes because I have a series of one eyes.
I took note of it, but didn't dwell on it. For some reason, I would pass over it. I wouldn't focus. Oh, she only has one eye showing, and a lot of these do. Yeah. So I'm glad you pointed it out to me because I didn't, didn't really dwell on it or fixate on it. But this one is, and maybe that's the reason it doubles the penetration. Huh?
Yeah.
But it really looks like some famous starlight of the past. Whether we have one of the magnificent old, ladies of Hollywood or something. It's just with the hair, the look, it looks just tremendous. And for the most part, other than some of the black, it's not monotonic, but so it's coordinated colors, so it's not depending on color per se.
But you know what the funny thing is like that is one color. It's just done in different grades.
Different grades. Well, that's what I figured. I didn't want to presume because I'm not an artist. But what I'm saying is it needs the accents of a lot of other color.
Yeah, it doesn't if you do it right.
Beautiful. And she was told that right after she did this, when someone purchased it right away, it was kind of an immediate situation, even though it wasn't a commission per se, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a commission.
Beautiful. And this is, let's talk a little bit, is most of your work on canvas? Or what?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I have work on wood, on plexiglass, on old draperies, canvas. It's always about the texture of the piece, like making something beautiful out of something just quite ordinary. Some of the stuff that I did when I first got here was actually repurposed into being a piece of artwork because people were throwing things away.
Oh, we had a lot of that right after, because she came after Katrina, and a lot of even our local artists were going and salvaging, which I thought was very, very creative. I think not all of them were, hits, but what I'm saying at the same time is just the idea. They're taking the past, which is lost now, and repurposing it, bringing it back to life.
And there's a story on one of the pieces that I hope you show that I'll tell you.
All right. Now, was this one on your canvas, or what was this?
That one was canvas.
Beautiful.
That one was canvas.
And about what size was this?
That one I think was about 18 by 24.
Nice size.
Just a nice standard size.
Yes, very nice. Now, do you title any of your work or no?
Yeah, that one's called Something About Her.
Oh, Something About Her. Sounds like a musical title. Yeah. Very nice. Well, we're going to move on from that dynamo right there, and let's take a look at it. Now, this one is really, per se, I wouldn't say it's one of your paintings.
It's half painting, half metal point.
There you go. It's Lammie was selected to be one of
12.
One of 12 fortunate artists in our city to help celebrate our tricentennial, which we're kind of winding down from. Everybody thinks it ends December 31st, but that's not true. But anyway, our 300th anniversary of our city. And, we were doing things left and right there early on, not just our talent, bringing royalty in from countries that helped found us and doing stuff like that. So her art is displayed with the other 12 at the Old New Orleans. It's called number
77.
It's a hotel on, is it Magazine or Chapatoulas?
No, it's Chapatoulas.
Right off of Poydras.
535 Chapatoulas.
And you might know it because a very famous chef come to town has opened up there, Nina Compton, and it's Compere Le Pen. So that's in that same hotel. It was called the Ambassador years ago, but it's always been kind of a fun boutique kind of hotel. So I haven't had a chance to go down there, but I'm so glad she said it goes till
February 1st.
February 1st. So I definitely will be down there, whether it's during Mardi Gras or before, to actually take a look. So that's what this was a poster basically for the exhibit to promote the existence of such, right?
It was actually the sponsorships on, actually put all the artwork on things like that.
I got it.
And that particular person is Kurt Weigel.
I was wondering if he resembles, again, I haven't seen Kurt in a long time, and in fact,
he looks the same.
I saw him on TV fairly, and I said, "Oh, it's still Kurt."
Yeah, it's
so,
good. And
very cool.
I met him. He's lovely.
Well, you've done him almost as a celebrity there. Not that he's not celebrated, but some of the stuff that they're doing. Okay, now let's get back to the ladies. Okay. And now this is one where the first we were monochromatic, basically. Now we've infused to this lady, and it's a one eye. Magnificent colors, but still in a kind of a cerebral, kind of a dark sphere. We're not bursting out in primal colors or anything. Yeah. Tell us about this lady, please.
When I was creating her, you know how you have thoughts going through your heads that you actually have to hold your head to keep yourself from going beyond.
Very well done.
That's it. So her name is called What Such Incredulous Thoughts.
Oh my goodness, that's a toughie, huh?
Because she was just like, what the heck,
Well, I mean, the expression is right there.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. And the lips, everything. Oh, my goodness. That's really fantastic. So,
and that one's on paper. And
paper.
It's oil and acrylic and ink.
Wow, all
the three in
three.
one. Yeah, all three. I love creating with all three
That
at the
is
same time.
well, no wonder the effects are so different. I was just wondering how took whatever you were using to make such like the back shadings. So they're just so not as defined. They're more muted, but also just a soft kind of effect. So that explains it. That really great. So I can't remember the title, but it expresses exactly what you call it. And she is really something. Okay, all right. And was that about the same size as the other?
No, this one is small.
Smaller. I figured on paper.
This one was about maybe 5.5 by 8.
5 by 8 or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, very. Well, that's great. That would be great for a small table in your house or in your office. Boy, that'll
I
that'll be
have that in prints now. That one's so.
Oh, but that would be a great kind. I mean, I know people have that would certainly want to know more about it from the host, whoever have it. All right. Now the next one is getting almost to the, and I don't know, is this the same technique as the ones?
That's metal point.
Metal. Okay. Let's go ahead, and this is what I was trying to tell you folks, that we have more at the end like this, where you're not getting the vibrancy of color or the definition, because tell us the process here first before we actually talk about the
Okay, so
paint.
this is metal point. This is actually a technique I taught myself when I went to Spain for 2 months in an artist residency. It's a technique that Da Vinci used
really?
and medieval scribes used.
I knew it.
But the thing is that they did it for underpaintings, or they used the actual metals to write. Now, what you're seeing is actually silver,
Okay.
a little bit of platinum.
All right. Wow.
It's gold, 24 karat gold.
Wow.
And there's a little bit of copper on the bottom, in the bottom circle. And
My
this
goodness.
was, the model was Bill T. Jones, who was a choreographer
Oh, okay.
in New York. I know him from, I know his specialty from New York, but the actual image was actually Mapplethorpe.
Oh,
Like him itself, but I turned him into the Zulu witch doctor.
Right.
And so he's the Zulu witch doctor. He didn't make the cut for the, for the calendar, but he did exhibit at Scope Miami this past year.
Wow.
And he's all metal. It's metal point.
That is I mean, it's just fantastic. And that's why I'm saying you can't realize that on the TV screen.
Yeah.
You've got to see it. That's why I was so pleased when we were seeing the things.
It's highly reflective.
Yes.
So the little light and
Right.
the big light, he vibrates. Like,
Good word,
Yeah.
vibrant. I love it. About what size was this one in it?
that one is about 31 by 32 by 40,
Oh,
42.
really nice.
And it's on wood.
On
He's
wood. Oh, fantastic. All right, let's move on to it now. We're back to the ladies, and this is one of the two called blue periods that we talked about. But this is almost like a contemporary version of
And
the.
she's a real person.
Oh, she's a real person.
Yeah.
But it's almost
She's
like
in New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans, even better. But it's almost like a contemporary version of the Titanic story, where you're focusing on the beauty of the woman, but also the magnificence of her
She's
piece.
a great story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can tell it, though.
I
huh?
can tell it
Oh,
real
you can?
quick. Okay,
All right.
so she saw one of my other pieces that was called Choker of Injustice, and it moved her. If you take a good look, you'll see a lot of texture in there.
Mm-hmm.
Those are embedded leaves from my mother's funeral.
You're kidding.
So
Oh, my
her
God.
father just passed. And so when I describe, how do you want this done, I use, talking about repurposing something.
Yes, right.
I couldn't let go of my mom at the time. So I took something from her funeral
Uh-huh.
embedded it into certain paintings,
Wow.
and then created a whole nother life for something that was slowly dying. I just brought it back to life. And she loved that idea. And so it's her healing piece. It is her healing piece. And she loves that necklace. And so I said, you know what? Let's see what we can do
Incorporate
with
it,
this.
huh?
She's a lovely person.
Oh, it's a beauty.
And she, we have such great conversations.
Great. Now, is this the title you mentioned on? But I was relating to the other painting she saw. Is that what is the title on this? Is there a title on this one?
Which one, the middle point? Or
No.
No,
Okay,
I
no
don't
problem.
even remember.
'Cause it was
if
a portrait, basically.
It was a commission piece for
Right.
her, and it heals her. Every time she looks at it, she's just so, this is years ago, and she still is
Fresh
enthralled with,
yeah.
when you walk into her house, it's the first thing you see.
That's fantastic. Well, it would be the best thing to see.
And I just was so happy that
Don't blame
she's
you.
still happy about it.
Now this next one is really kind of a rough one.
Well,
to me.
this one is called, why?
Well, it really depicts, and I know this is not maybe your intention, but to me this would be like a poster or a PSA for like a battered woman or an abused
I know,
woman.
well,
Now I don't mean because you don't see in, you
No.
know, I don't mean the physical look. I mean the physical damage, but the mental damage.
Well, think
the
of
spiritual.
it this way.
Go ahead.
One of the reasons why I like doing blues was because there's two things. The color blue relate to the music, the blues.
The blues and song, right?
And
rhythm and
so
blues.
when you're thinking of the blues, you could either go one way or another.
Correct.
And my thing was at some point we have to take the blues and turn it into something
Better.
amazing and gorgeous. And so she's actually called Brown-Eyed Blue.
Brown-eyed blue.
Yeah, she's called Brown-Eyed Blue.
That's a great name.
And, you know, it's a combination of Don't Make My Brown Eyes Blue.
Blue, right, from the song, yeah?
Yeah, the song. But it's just, you know, I thought that the richness of the brown in her eyes.
Right.
And
Which
then
might
the-
not come over on the TV.
Yeah.
I do apologize for that because I know I have to look close on the little phone to see it. I originally thought it was black from a distance.
Yeah,
like, you know.
it's very
But yes.
detailed and then it's also showing the richness of a brown soul.
Right.
So,
But her expression, I mean, it's just really something. Really something. So.
And that one is on repurposed vinyl.
Vinyl.
Well, you know the kind of vinyl that are on awnings and
Yeah. Oh, so
yeah.
stiffer.
So it's
Not a
stiffer.
flexible. No.
The artwork. I was the Brooklyn 2007 the BAM Dance Africa artist. So
Okay.
they actually took the artwork that I did and printed
Frame it,
it on the vinyl and stretched it across the
Across the-
building.
oh, I know.
So at the end of that term, they actually gave me the vinyl, and so I turned a whole bunch of the vinyl into
new-
artwork.
oh, fantastic.
And that was one of the pieces.
Well, I mean, you know, it's not for everybody because you know what I'm saying is that it's not conveying, you know, what they want to show happiness or you know a little bit lighter spirit.
It's going to be different from person to person.
I understand, but it is truly
And they really, most women just see their soul,
exactly,
and that's why you know that's the big thing.
definitely beautifully done. Now the next one is we really haven't had that color expression that I talked about, but this is the first one that we're showing where color plays a prominent role. And tell us about this particular.
That's actually a real person.
Okay.
She commissioned me from, I think, the Carolinas.
Okay.
I've known her for years, but she's always wanted a piece. And she saw it's called the Transcendence series with all the colors. All those colors are not really done with a brush. They're all like oil and acrylic washing in together.
Wow.
And what I did was just build her out of it because the eyes always have blue. This is another thing where blue has a different meaning. The blue is clarity.
Perfect.
Okay, so it's almost like it's water.
Yes, like water. That's what I was saying, water.
Yeah, between clarity and it's not just her eyes, but her mind. Everything else actually is forming her into a new being of who she wants to be. So the browns are going to be her earth tones.
Right.
The purples are going to be her passion.
Right.
There's certain levels of gold in there to
Yes,
show
you can see that.
her soulful brilliance. And, you know, the green is just, you know, again, more earthy.
Yes.
And
She being able
so
to.
and that one was 40 by 40.
And on what medium?
That one was canvas.
Canvas.
That
I was
one
saying,
was canvas.
I'm sure it'd be perfect on canvas. So.
Yeah, it was
Very
canvas.
well. I know she relishes that. That is really.
I was
beautiful.
so happy she loved it. I was just
I
like,
don't know why she
thank
wouldn't.
God.
It's just- I understand your reason there, but really a lovely, lovely piece. All right, now we're back into, and I don't like to. another big
point.
thing on celebrity portrait, even though we have some phenomenal one I'm talking to right now, and he really specializes in celebrities. I just told him, well, for some reason, I personally love each of your pieces. I just don't feel like I want to celebrate celebrities, not that they don't deserve it, on the show. And I don't mind an occasional piece. This, one of my favorite artists, because I'm so old, of course, one of the contemporary artists, and we saw her in person several times, because I was always into not only architecture, but antiques and fashion as well of the periods. And back in the 80s, when fashion became so prominent on the runway, and Grace Jones became the symbol of fashion. Her music was played at all the runway shows in Paris, and then she became an immortal star. We saw her twice in Paris, and that immediately jumped out. This is so reminiscent, and I know that's probably not who you intended, but it just struck me with that same dramatic look. Absolutely fabulous. Go ahead, tell me about this one, because I know I'm taking too much of your time.
So that one is called Faith Adorn.
All right.
And it's metal point. She is gold. She is pure silver. She is copper. And if you see something there, is because I shaved my head once.
Oh, okay.
And that's not me, but it's the feeling. It's the feeling
of being
of
bald.
what you pretty much shed everything.
Right.
And you put faith in, so we have this tendency of putting faith in a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
But I practice, so it's more like, if you take a really good look, there's 3 crosses in her earring. There's 3 crosses on top and bottom of her choker.
Right.
She's holding a rosary.
Right.
And the thing is that she's holding, we all wear something of faith.
Exactly, usually, yes.
And so it's almost like and then, the roundness is showing almost like a halo effect.
That was my secondary thing was, I was seeing exactly the cause, and then that's what I saw. I said, it's almost like Joan of Arc. Even though she wasn't per se a religious figure, really her spirit was. And here she had the extreme of shaving her head and being, I don't want to say militaristic, but that kind of dramatic, really extreme look, but then still having the crosses and the halo would bring it back to sanctity and stuff like that. So it's really one of my favorite pieces of yours.
Thanks. And what you see that's white is actually silver.
So I figured it was.
Yeah, there's no white. Everything is metal. On this.
And is this on wood?
No, it's plexiglass.
Plexiglass. And how about an approximate size for those?
That one is 24 by 36.
Really nice. Really, really pretty. And you have a title, did you say you had a title?
Faith Adorn.
Faith Adorn, right.
It could be Faith, your faith, or it could be her name.
Her name,
Yeah.
So you double entendre beautifully. Yeah. Okay, now the next one is, to me, kind of a departure from everything we've seen.
Well, that's a historical piece.
Oh, okay. Yes, I know, but what we've been seeing, it just seems...
Yeah.
So tell us about this one. Come on.
So that one is actually in a gallery in Chicago.
Oh,
the Gallery
Chicago.
Bouchard. And it is, that particular piece is 95 brown paper bags.
Wow, well, that's what I saw around the perimeter. I said, "Oh, those are real bags."
Those are, the whole thing is a tapestry of bags. And there's a story in the South, and I didn't hear about this until like 2007.
Okay.
But in the South, there was this thing where black people had different states of colorism.
Okay.
And so there's the light skin, the dark skin, this, that. Okay, at some point, the brown paper bag was actually used, that if you were darker than the brown paper bag, you weren't allowed in parties, some churches, some nightclubs, some this, some that.
You're 100% accurate.
And so the woman that I chose, or the women or the people that I chose to do these particular paintings are actually darker. And I wanted to show their majesty. I wanted to show how beautiful they were and that they mattered.
Right.
And that's why.
Absolutely beautiful. In fact,
and that's a huge piece.
We had an artist when I was on a TV show, which people may get the chance to see, and she went to a particular unknown tribe. And everything's done in what I call like sienna. I know that's not the right color, but I mean, it's something like that. All that, what you would convey the Arab kind of texture of everything. The magnificence of the people that she displayed in those things works. Has stayed with me today. And she's a local artist. She has a cooperative that in fact they've been open for Christmas time. People can go buy their works down in Mid-City. Anyway, again, there was, the bangle necklace and all just really just speaks to you.
It's gold metallic feeling, and around the edges has a little bit of gold leaf-ish, like rubbed into it that I had.
Right.
But other than that, she's an amazing piece.
Okay, we unfortunately, I'm so enthralled in this, but we've been running late for the second break. We're almost halfway through, so that's good. We'll be able to finish everything in time. But folks, we got to take a break here. This will be the last time, I promise. Come on back in a couple of minutes, and we'll finish up with Lammie-Hanson to see just the magnificent stuff we've been showing you. Okay.
This is Charles Stewart.
And the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams.
We are Church Without Walls.
And we are here today to give you information that you don't normally get at church.
We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12.
Call in with your comment or your questions, and we'll be glad to try and answer them for you. If we don't have the answer today, we will get it to you on a message.
Don't you dare miss it.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on a golf course that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Oh, how the time flies. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson. And can you believe that it has been 1 year since Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions hit your airwaves? We have interviewed authors, entrepreneurs, playwrights, musicians, and everyone in between, all to bring you the best in literary conversation. And we plan to do it again this year, but only better. So join us right here in the Literary Lounge each Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. See you there.
All right, folks, welcome back to R-tist Revue Cabaret Month, December. And we're topping off the third week with our phenomenally talented artist, Lammie-Hanson, originally from Brooklyn, but now settled here with us in New Orleans. And she's been showing the diversity of her work with regard to not only media, but concept, textures, really to our delight. I think hopefully you're as pleased as I am with it. And even though when I first met her, I had only seen one piece, the piece we talked about, some of the metal work that she does on these paintings. I was blown away when I saw some of the variety of the colors and the subject matter, as we mentioned. Now this next one kind of, oh my goodness. Now this next one kind of embodies a lot of what we just talked about other than the metal work. And until just now, we had a discussion. I thought it was one huge piece, but it's six separate panels?
It's six separate panels.
Tell us a little bit about this piece, because I think it's just fantastic.
This one is titled Different Shades Living Within Limitations.
Wow.
And it's a piece that is 72 by 36, and it's each shade is encompassed, but the guy in the middle, if you see, he's part of 3 shades, and then he has this cloak. He's the guy who's trying to unify. And the thing is that he's not part of any of them so much, he's not divided by any of the lines, but he is part of the community, and he wants to be a unifier.
Ah, very well. You see, I didn't, excuse me, folks, I did not understand that when I saw it. I didn't define it other than that, but I just didn't understand his work, his purpose of being. But
Yeah.
now it is with the arms outstretched and the flanking of the other individuals.
Exactly.
Really well done. Really well done. Now this is done on wood?
No, that's canvas.
Canvas panels.
It's canvas panels. I built each panel.
Wow, this is fantastic. Really magnificent. So this really says it all because it's got both figures and color, the other techniques, and just a great statement. Okay, now the next one. Let's see, get out of audio. Now we're giving. I think we're giving justice to the other gender. Is that what we're doing?
We are.
Okay.
And that's a metal point piece.
All right, ladies, hold this down. This is, we don't do a lot of nudes here because we are. Our owner is a pastor, and so we try and honor that. But at the same time, when there's magnificent stuff like that without being pornographic, this is just exquisite.
He's just pure silver. He's done. Wow. He's drawn in silver.
Wow.
So, and it was just, he was very dark. So
well, that's what I was wondering.
Really
was he this dark? Are you?
He's almost that dark.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just that I wanted to make sure that I got all the skin tone, not the shine on his skin.
Right. Oh my.
But everything that you see there that you think is white is actually silver, and the reflection.
Right.
Of the white.
Now, what surface is this on?
That one is canvas mixed with grout.
Oh, wow. That's never. And what I really like about it is instead of putting some type of either a neutral background or a vibrant, you blended it in with the same color. Mm-hmm. So it's color coordinated, but it's still, because it's more of a matte finish in the back.
Yes.
The dynamics of the sheen of the body is just, it's not lost by any means. It really just focus it where it should focus.
That's my intention.
Now, do we have a name in this? Now, hopefully, if it's a person's name, don't give it out.
No, I never gave him a name, or at least I don't remember giving him a name. I just thought that I needed to do a male nude that was done well. Sometimes you feel the need to see if you can do that.
I understand. Now, was this, because we have to ask, was there a real male nude that he did, or was this your visual of the perfect male nude?
I collect images, and what I do is manipulate.
Well, I think it's great.
I sometimes take my own pictures, but I did not have.
Right, but it's great. And did you say there was a title or no?
No.
Okay.
No. But the size of it is 16 by 20.
16, that's a nice size.
And it's on plexiglass.
On plexiglass again. Wow. Okay, now we're back to our ladies, folks. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable here. But this is really striking because this looks like a combination of some of the techniques or the mixtures that we've had before done again on just a magnificent female. Tell us about this lady.
This one is called Residual Self.
Residual Self, okay.
She's done in oil and acrylic.
Okay.
And pencil.
And pencil too, okay.
Yeah.
I can see kind of the pencil lines.
Yeah.
Great. And what fabric is this on?
It's on canvas.
Canvas, okay.
And she's about, I think, 11 by 14.
And what are we calling this?
Residual Self.
Okay.
If you truly see how it's almost like it's just washing.
Right.
Like
from the top?
Yeah, from the top, but it goes through her.
Right.
It's almost like her past is washing
flowing
away,
through it,
and she's preparing for new.
Once again, striking, really striking, and without a lot of color emphasis. The basics and a little bit of contrast. I think really dynamic. Again, very dynamic ladies. All right, now this is the one I think our station attendant was referring to. I know of the blues that we saw, even though the other was a phenomenal story background.
This was the one.
This is just fantastic.
That one there was the one that influenced.
That was the influence. I figured. I was thinking, since we had the story, whether could this be the one that was the impression for the consignment. Wow.
But the story behind this one's called Choker of Injustice.
Yeah, I remember you had the choker.
I actually created this, and the pendant on it is actually a Scales of Justice tilted. Oh. I originally was going to put a cross on there. Okay. And the choke, it was more like saying how sometimes, not to say the church, but it vices your voice for women. Right. For women.
Okay.
But the day that I did it was the Saturday that George Zimmerman was acquitted for Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
And so I was so moved. I mean, she basically was done. And I turned the cross into a choker of injustice. It was called Questionable Means originally.
No, I think.
And then I called it. So if you
I can't
ever
even
really look at it.
Yeah, I can't even envision the cross. To me,
Yeah.
the choker is so striking with her almost Modigliani neck. You know, it's just fantastic. I mean,
On top of it, there's 4 to 5 layers of blues.
wow.
And each layer has a texture. And each layer is a tear or a wipe or a what do you call it? A texture, 3D-ish texture
Okay.
on it. So, and then she's built up.
And what was the media again? What were you
Okay,
using?
so all the blues, the texture blues, they're all acrylic. She's built in oil.
Oh, wow.
She's built in oil, and she's on campus.
Okay.
And she's
Love it.
40 by 40.
Oh, I like that being a little larger.
Yeah.
That is great. That is absolutely stunning. This should really be one of your, I'm not saying in every exhibit, but maybe on your promotional things, somebody always include her. I think it's just, not that the other lady's not as good, but this is just so striking. It's really dramatic. Okay, now once again, we're flipping the coin and going to full color.
This was the original piece that the lady that I
Now this to me
remember
looks
the other
like
one,
this is
the
very
transition,
yes.
the transcendence. This is one of the original transcendence pieces that I did. Again, you see how the eyes are in the blues, and it's her clarity, and then the passion of the purple kind of just fuses with it all.
Well, not to take anything away from your description, your impression, but and I don't know when you painted this, but being down here in New Orleans, this is like very representative of our Mardi Gras feeling. You know,
I didn't
the
even
spirit,
think about it
the
that
colors.
way.
Yeah. Well, that's what struck me first. I wonder if Mardi Gras or Carnival had any impression on her in this thing. I mean, you could really feature this in the Mardi Gras. Maybe it might lead you to something that would be a series, huh?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
It's part of the Transcendence series. I don't have many of them, but when I do it, I was very, very pleased by the blues. But I love the way the purple.
Yes.
The purple
that's what's
is
striking.
Pure it's almost like her backbone.
Yeah, but you got the purple, the gold, the green, and the blue of the sky. So you've got the colors there. So that's what I said. Maybe you can think about it next time and put a series together for Mardi Gras, because I think this is a great, especially now we have so many female group crews and stuff like that. I don't know what he put up there. I just missed it. Let's move on because we only have a few minutes left, and unfortunately I'm getting messages. I don't know what they're saying.
Now,
Now this is to me starlet quality. This is Hollywood. This is like the Oscarette, okay, in real life. Though. Tell me about this one, dear.
She is called the Elegant. The Elegant One.
Couldn't get a better than.
It's more of a homage to decadence, Southern Lady of Leisure, decadence.
Wow.
So, and then on top of it, she's on vinyl.
A vinyl again.
Yeah, but this vinyl is the smooth kind, the kind that people throw away from their windows.
Right, the Pleximal kind of stuff.
Yeah. So she and then she's pure. Like everything about her is oil, and the background is acrylic, but it's done in such a way that they're ribbons.
Wow!
And it's like satin ribbons.
Yeah, you can see the flow, the fluidity of the stuff, like it would be. And about size, any idea?
40 by 40.
Oh, another big one. That's great. I like that. That's now we're taking it maybe a different step. Get almost full figured in this one. Similar kind of tones. And how is this lady for us?
That is actually Frida Kahlo.
Okay.
And she is, you know Frida, right?
I do, but maybe the audience doesn't. You might want.
Frida Kahlo is a Mexican artist, and
right.
she's one of my inspirations. And she never had any children. She was a big revolutionary.
Right. I picture her with that militaristic kind of concept. Yeah.
And she had a lot of fight in her, but she never had any children. So this is called Frida Feeds Faith and Hope. And the children are called Faith and Hope.
Right.
But you can also take it accordingly to her revolutionary
spirit yeah.
of the influence that she had.
Oh my goodness! Well, now I didn't recognize, again, my bad eyes, so I didn't recognize her as that individual to you. Mm-hmm. But now it just all fits, and explaining that part that was maybe deficient from her, but bringing it up fully to maternal instincts as well, I think is just a real nice touch. I really do.
Thank you.
Really,
and that is it's I think 16 by 20 or 18 by 24, but it's on reeds, like a reed kind of.
Wow, material, like papyrus almost, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, you can kind of see. I can't see it that well with my bad eyes, but you can kind of.
And it's a lot of oil, not that much acrylic.
I got
and
it.
ink.
Now we've got one or two more left, so we need to. Ooh, we're getting close. What is this there? What are we looking at?
That one is part of the Transcendent series.
Oh, this is
called, it's one of the. It's called Reconstitution of My Being.
Oh my God!
And that's how you got broken, and you see the blues are actually healing you.
Healing process.
It's bringing you back together.
But embedded in this magnificent green is just.
You see the little things of blue and gold.
Yes. Really pretty. And what was the name on this one again?
Reconstitution of My Being.
Well, I wish I would have seen. You'll have to refer me if you have some online of that particular series, because it really is intriguing. Seeing these two that I don't know. I think we only had two that we saw in this series.
Yeah, there's one more that's a full blue that I think you would love.
Yeah.
But it's funny because three out of those. Out of the 5, they're all gone, you know?
Oh,
and so
lucky them.
It's like, it's awesome to be able to.
Okay, now let's go to the last thing. We talked at the beginning, and we had some tinges of this with regard to her use of metals. And this is, as I mentioned, I was introduced to her at that gallery exhibit, which, compared to everything else, was very subdued. Unless you went up to it, I wouldn't doubt some people just passed it. Oh, well, let's a little more vibrant, But to realize and I knew this was, I didn't know who had done these uses of metals, but I knew that's historically a very important usage.
It's about maybe 400 or 500 years old.
Okay, that makes it a little old. Not as old as me, but a little. But anyway, I knew it was such a process, a metallurgist, or whatever you call it, that for someone to be reviving it or at least making it popular, trying to promote it, was to me just a Herculean event, first of all. So I think it's great. So tell us about this. Is magnificent, again, the Indian chief.
That's actually, he is called Bakat, I think you can see it, Bakat Batiste. He is the first Mardi Gras Indian.
The first?
Yeah, and he actually styled his, in the tribe that he started was the Creole Wild West.
Okay.
Now the thing is, there was no known picture that I can get, so
right.
I pretty much studied how he did it, where he got his motif, his whole thing
his
from,
theme
which was
on
the plain
typical
Indians.
Indian thing. Right.
Yeah, but the plain Indians, because each Indian tribe happens to have their own particular
own
style.
logos and
But then I also looked at the bone work of his not his ancestors, his descendants.
I got it.
And I tried to mark it all in there.
Oh, fantastic. Well, what a...
And this piece is actually in the show in old number
77. Yeah, I know. I think you told me that, and that's why I wanted to really dramatic and keep it as the finale, because, again...
when you go and see it, you'll actually be able to see... And it's done in platinum and in silver. In pure platinum and pure
And
silver.
what is it based on? On what material?
Oh, it's on canvas.
Canvas, okay.
Yeah.
And about size?
It's about, I think it's 20 by 20.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, for those who missed that, as we said, she's been fortunate enough to be one of a dozen artists to feature in the Tricentennial exhibit at the old number 77 hotel on Chapatulas, right off of Poydras. Which is a famous restaurant we mentioned about. What is this in the lobby, or where is
There's a gallery in the lobby. If you walk in straight, you'll be able to see all the wording. There's a video there that tells you about the artists and the people who were chosen for it, as well as 50 plus pieces out of the 300.
Wow.
That was, that is exhibited there. And I tell you, seeing the other people's works in person, as opposed to it being published in the newspaper, it looks awesome.
It's got to be awesome. Yeah, that's why I do want to get down there, because I really. In case you're not familiar with where we tell you this, it's either, if you know, right across the street is a parking lot. That won't be a landmark. But right behind that is the Piazza d'Italia.
Yes.
And that's all done beautifully down at nighttime with the lights. London. So that's where to go. All right, we got to. They're really rubbing me, getting me aggravated because it's the end of the show. Lammie, please tell the folks, how can they, besides seeing this tribute here in the Torino, are you exhibiting any place right now?
In New Orleans, old number 77, and in Chicago, my work is at the Gallery Guichard, and they have about 4 of my series.
Pieces?
Yeah, well, 4 series.
4 series.
They have about 14 to 18 pieces still there.
Fantastic. Now, how can people get in touch with you? Either how would you want them, and also maybe see more of your work online?
They can go to see more work. They can go to www.D-Lammie-Hanson.
That's a D period,
Lammie? No, just did one word. D-Lammie
dash Hanson.
No, just straight.
Okay.
HANSON.com. And you can email me
on there,
through the website. And
is there any pictures, paintings on that?
On the
website?
Oh, tons.
Good.
Tons.
Good. All right, folks. This went by super fast, and of course, as it usually does, because it's so intriguing. We want to again thank this wonderful artist who I've met and really been pleased with, and hopefully you're as pleased as I am now seeing the magnificent variety and the texture and the effort that she's putting out there. So look for her next week, last of the month. It's going to be a little different, so it's not going to be part of the artist. It isn't. I'm going to tell you this. This is a teaser. You know I like to tease. Everything old is new again. Now let's see if we can figure that out. And catch us next week. If nothing else, just to see the beginning, to see what's going on next Wednesday. Have a great holiday, Christmas from Lammie and I, and the whole holiday is blessed for y'all. Thanks for watching. Take care.
Bye.
I like that little bye.
That's funny.
Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans Talk Network.